Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel and welcome to part 6, and I promise you it's the final part of the scenery scratch build for this corner. We only have a few things left to do and they're all involving the original building that we built, the club. I need an interior and I need a bit of signage across the front, a few little tricks to do there, and then we'll have a completed area. And you know, it's been a long journey, nothing's worth rushing. I might make that a channel motto, nothing's worth rushing. Yeah, so we will reach the conclusion. It's been a long journey, I've enjoyed it. One more bit to go, so let's just take this off here, go round to the bench and start putting it all together, shall we? So as you'll be more than aware if you followed this build along, we have this building that I intend to be some kind of a bar during the day and a club at night. Still haven't stuck this down. That is going to happen very soon. Now inside here I've got a floor. We have lights which are plugged into the USB. So I've marked some things out on my floor plan. I need something to cover up these wires here, and obviously probably need some kind of a toilet cubicle in here. So I'm going to put a box there, which will be here, which will just cover up the edge of those wires. So that will be for that. And then everything else will be an insert that slots into the bottom of this. So I'm going to have a bar that runs around here, and then across this end I'm going to have like the DJ booth. I'll build a bit of a wall up the back here so that I can put some shelves on it, and then we'll have, you know, maybe a bit of a dance floor area here, and then in front of the windows here a couple of tables and chairs and just some people and a bit of nightclub lighting, which we'll get to in a while. Now, to help me with all of this, while this is a scratch build, obviously there will be a lot more people, and I've got some more people beside that I just need to finish painting. And I have also got a silver Hoff. It is a David Hasselhoff, and I've painted him silver. More about him later. So for the seating that's going to go in front of the window here, Magnetic Racing recently released a series of just furniture sets. So this one here is for quite high tables and bar stools. So we'll have some of these and they'll go all in here. And then on the top of this roof here, they do another set, which is some long tables and chairs. So the idea is, I think, let's just take one out of here. These will fit in here, and I can have probably 3 of them. And they can be long benches for people to sit at up on this roof terrace. So again, Magnetic Racing bits for that. The bar and all the rest of that, well, Ian and Doug sent me a nice sheet of uncut MDF, which I shall use. And I have, of course, raided the sprues. I mean, this will probably be some shelves for the back of the bar. Just some blank extra pieces of wood. A few other rails and things. This curious piece here that I think might actually be the top of the DJ booth, because it's got this little cutout in it there. So I think that's what might happen there. just generally some bits, and a door for the toilet. So I'm going to do a bit of measuring, a bit of chopping up, and then I'll start building some of this stuff. I have also got a sign, which is still in here at the moment, and you can't really see what it says, which will go across here, which will name the bar fully. Again, we'll get to that towards the end of the video. Right, let's give you a bit of an update on where I'm at. So I cut up various pieces of wood, as you saw. This is going to be the back wall of the bar. I've put a bit of silver foil tape on there because often the back of a bar is a mirror. So a bit of silver foil tape, and as it turns out, there is quite a good bit of reflection on there, as you can see. So, what goes on there? Well, little bottles of wine go on there. And I have 3 shelves of these. A little tip with little bottles of wine, whether you 3D print them yourself or whether you buy them, stick them all to a piece of wood with some double-sided tape so they stand up. Paint them with primer, then paint them green or red or whatever you're doing. And then finally, stick them in a row to a shelf because, let's be honest, there's always some kind of OCD person who works in a bar that will face all the bottles up so all the labels face outwards. So stick them all in a row like that, and then just get a paintbrush with some white paint on it and run a line all the way across the front. Don't press too hard, and you will end up with a whole load of bottles with labels on. Even works, you know, just gently. Done. So that's those. So I'm going to stick these on here at various points so that that becomes the back wall of the bar. Now if I just stand that up here for a minute, so that will go there thus. Still got this drawn out on here from before. The other bits of wood that I cut up, I've cut into, as I mentioned, a toilet cubicle and the bar top. Now with the bar top, I've put a down stand on it, and around this side I've filed out 3 little holes. So what I'm going to do is poke some LEDs through there so they will sort of shine downwards onto this and create a glow below the bar. So that piece goes about there. And I made a door with a little handle just separately to this so that I can paint this a different colour. I can spray all of this with a spray can, just do it all white, and then work out what I'm going to do after that. The door I can paint a different colour, and then I can slot it into there once it's done. And then the final piece as to where I've got so far is this top of the DJ booth, and this is an old school club, so I've printed out some vinyl decks and a mixer, which will fit onto this. And then this piece will go about there. And again, this cabinet will probably have a down stand on it, but I'm also going to drill some holes in the front because this is going to be a disco booth, so we need some flashing LEDs sticking through the front. We'll get to those in a bit. So I'm going to cut some more little pieces of wood here, build the rest of this up, paint it all, put the door in probably, and these shelves up. And I have got a sheet of parquet wood flooring just printed out as a texture off the internet, which I'm going to stick down on this as a piece of flooring once I've built all the rest of this up. And then after that, I'm going to put some LEDs in and wire it all up. And I've put some little holes through there, grooves through there, so when I've wired things into the back of this and back of this, they can all run along the floor behind here. Nobody will see them. They can go through there, and then I can do all the ugly soldering and joining things together in here. Behind here, nobody will ever see it. So that's the plan. I'm going to go and do a bit more of that, and I'll come back when this is a little bit more like a complete bar. So here we are, here's another update. Obviously everything's painted, the bottles are on the wall. I haven't glued this on yet, but it's just standing here so that you can see what's going on. I've got a guy there just for effect at the moment, just so you've got a bit of scale. And all the holes are drilled in here, ready to accept the LEDs. And there's a couple in the top here as well, just for fun. Now, 3mm holes for 3mm LEDs. Now, not all LEDs are the same. Let me move you down a little bit. So, in this bag, these LEDs cycle colour, but they do it fairly slowly. Come on. There we go. Bit of green, bit of blue, and so on. These ones, while they may look the same, these are a bit funkier. Because these ones do everything a lot quicker. And they'll do flashing and fading and cycle through all sorts of things, but very quickly. And this final set, which is a bag marked F Mix, is a random selection of colours and they flash. So there's a green one. This one is a blue one. This one's an orange one. So, what I'm going to do here is stick various different LEDs randomly through these holes here, so that different things flash at different times, and there's a selection of colours and a selection of different speeds of flashing lights, and just connect them all up. And the ones that are up under here, I might put the slow wash ones underneath here so that this does a slow wash, and then do all the flashing ones in there and a couple of flashing ones in the top. See how I go. So that's what I'm going to do. I shall probably put them all in like this and then try and wire everything together. And I'll do all of that off camera, and I'll come back and show you the horrible mess of cables when I've finished. So quite a lot of progress has been made. Everything is stuck down and glued together. Put the decks and the mixer in there. All the bottles are on there. Everything is together. Lots of LEDs in here, all glued in. And don't look at it too much behind here, but they are all wired together. I'll give you a quick demo. There we are, look. So that's that. And obviously now we come to the bit of putting the people in. So I have, along the way, raided some tables and chairs out of the Hospitality magnetic racing set, and I've made those up and sat 4 people on 4 stools. I've got a load of other people here that I've also painted up, some of which will go in here, some of which won't. I think this guy's just going to be the bar guy. He's just sort of going to be standing in there looking a bit bored. The important one here is this guy. It is the Hoff, and the Hoff is going to DJ in the club. I have still got the big silver Hoff for later. Don't forget him. So I shall set about gluing some of these people in and making it look a bit more like a place rather than just a model of a room. So as you can see, it's quite a busy club really for quite a small place. There's the bar guy just talking to some guy, because that always happens. The Hoff is breaking the golden rule and having a bottle of Coke on his desk with all of his audio equipment, but he's the Hoff, so he can do that. I don't know what this guy was doing with his arms, but I figured it was some kind of dancing. So these two are dancing. There's a girl here taking a selfie with the Hoff. I think these two are either having a conversation or dancing. I'm not sure. And then these two here and these two here enjoying some drinks. And this girl here is just on her way out the door. Now, in theory, there we are, should fit in there. So if we plug the lights in, that's nice. If we plug the disco in, yeah, it's party time in the club. Awesome stuff. Right, on with the top and the front. Okay, that was fairly straightforward, just assembling those tables and chairs and sticking some people down. So I put the disinterested people who are staring at their phones and reading the paper with their backs to the racetrack, naturally. This guy, I don't know what he's doing. These two are having a conversation over here. And then I've got two photographers who are just using this as a good vantage point to take photos down onto the track. There is obviously this little patio area that's going to be here outside. So I've still got a few more people that I can use in that area. And that's all good. So now we come to the thorny and slightly tricky issue of putting signage on the front of this bar. Now, this bar is named by Lee from Lee Slot Cars, and I think Doug from Magnetic Racing. A few other people suggested that if you're going to have a garage full of legend cars underneath, then I really have got to call it Legends Bar. So that will sort of go across there like that. However, I've got a backing for this as well. Ian from Magnetic Racing cut these out for me. So they can go on like that. So I'm thinking I'll probably do the backing silver, and the front I'll paint this same bright blue so that the words really stand out. Now the next thing I'm going to do after that, and the bit that is why Ian has sent me 2 sets of these, and is the bit I've been worrying about because I don't know if it's going to work or not, is this thing, which I think I gave you a sneak preview of in a previous video in one of those just one more things at the end. Now, this is called EL wire. It comes with a little transformer. Again, plugs into USB. And it is, as you can see, it kind of lights up. Let me switch that light off for a minute. There we are, look. So it's kind of like neon. So what I want to try and do, and I don't know if it's going to work, is thread this through these and make it read and write Legends Bar in the neon. This is either going to work or it's not. If what you see in the next video clip is me just putting a blue and silver unilluminated sign on here, it didn't work. But fingers crossed, it will work. I'll be back in a bit and we'll find out then, won't we?
One eternity later.
So then, how did I do? Well, the good news is it worked. I have managed to bend this EL wire and super glue it down, and it does spell out the letters correctly. Now, this was very hard work because EL wire isn't very bendy, and I also had to go through and back. I've kind of painted it black on the back here so it doesn't shine back. But it was like knitting with very fat, unfriendly wool. And yes, it took a long time. It made the ends of my fingers really hurt. I don't suggest you do this unless you really, really want to. However, it has worked. So this will go just about there. Some other things to remember. You may remember the giant Silverhof. Now, these kind of slightly tacky clubs and bars, they usually have a fairly garish silver or gold plated figurine out the front somewhere. So here's the Hof, because Legends, and he's inside DJing. So we will just stick him maybe about there somewhere. And then finally, because you know I like a play on words, there's a few of those around my circuit. We'll put hospitality on there. And then I shall put this back on the bottom base, put it all around the other side, and we can light it up, and we can finally finish this 6-part marathon of doing quite a small corner of my layout. So I'll get all that done. I'll see you around the other side in a moment. Okay, so one last flyby of this corner with the coffee company. All of these USB switches are now filled up. That's the corner we had before. And here is the hospitality unit, complete with, don't know if you can see him in this light, there he is, the Hof, behind the decks. And there's a sign on the front. I've included a doorman bouncer and a few other people milling about on the terrace here. This girl was waiting for her friend who's just coming out. And that's that. But it's not it, is it really? You want the money shot, don't you? So let me just put you down here for a minute. And we'll switch the lights off. So then, there's the bar. There's the normal lights. And there's the disco. Now all of that has just worked out far, far better than I could ever imagined when I started this, whatever, 3 months ago, maybe more, going, what shall I do with these 2 old wooden boxes? I mean, it has been made up as I've gone along, and it's come out really well. I'm really, really pleased with it. The only trouble with this is I've now got to do the rest of my layout to this kind of standard, haven't I? Made a rod for my own back here. But thank you for being with me on this long, long journey. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope, as a finale, that's pretty good, isn't it? As always, thanks for taking the time to watch one of my videos. If you liked it, you will find a button specifically for that. Please subscribe to the channel, it's free and it really does help. And if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video.